I reorganized the records too because I had like all the heavy music together. So I mixed it up from metal, power violence, and hardcore. And then I have like the post-hardcore and emo shit. But yeah. The music wall.
I'm sleepy.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Betamax. My name is Fidel. And joining me on this episode is Eddie. Fuck Jose.
For reals.
No, I gotta celebrate my son's birthday. Fucking asshole.
For reals, dude. What happened to homies come first?
For real. Hey, where's our invite too? You know
For reals. I'm trying to party in Vegas, dude.
Damn, it took Joseph to Vegas for his 6th birthday?
Hey, you gotta start him young, dude. He's gonna have a gambling problem by the time he's 10, dude.
Fuck yeah. Oh my God. No, we were just talking about how like it feels weird doing it in my living room again.
Yeah.
It's strange.
It doesn't feel weird. It just feels like, I think because we both got used to the garage.
Yeah.
It feels like, I don't know. It's quiet. I think that's like the main thing.
Yeah.
It's like super quiet.
That's what it is. It's quiet. No outside noise.
Yeah, dude. It's cozy in here.
I had the AC on earlier, but then it got cold.
It was hot in the morning and then it got cold out of nowhere. Oh,
Dude, that church's chicken fucked me up, dude.
I don't think I've ever seen you eat at churches before, dude.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But I was craving chicken and I don't like KFC.
Fried chicken?
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? The closest chicken spot is Church's. So I got that. And it was good, but just like immediately my stomach was like, my stomach turned into Jonathan Davis, dude.
You were. Damn, dude.
Yeah, it was immediate. Like I finished eating and I was just like, you know, I'm gonna shower. Like I haven't showered since yesterday when I got home from work. So I showered, got out of the shower, and then that's when it hit me. It's like because my stomach became the vocalist for a gore grind band.
Oh my God. Sick, dude. Damn, that should give you like immediate chorro.
Yeah, that shit sucks. So no more Church's chicken.
For a month.
Nah,
In 2 weeks.
Wild, dude. What was the last thing that fucked up you? Fucked up you?
Damn,
fucked up
dude.
your stomach?
I don't know, dude. Who was I talking about? I was talking about like having churro and I with someone and I was telling them that I can't remember the last time I had churro, dude.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it's been so long.
Oh, look at me, I'm Eddie. I got a healthy stomach.
No,
Fuck, you know what I mean?
dude, I have a fucking stomach of fucking steel, dude. Like, I think the only thing that could mess up my stomach would probably be dairy.
Yeah, probably.
It's mostly because I haven't had it since forever, but dude, I could eat like the spiciest thing and I'll be fine. But it's also, I think it is because I don't eat dairy. I think that's like the main thing.
Yeah.
Or like meat, obviously, but oh, dude, I can't remember like the last time I was like, fuck this shit. Because even when we did the one chip challenge, dude, I didn't have like the stomach pains that everyone else got.
I got bad stomach pains.
Yeah.
I remember just laying on the floor, like on my stomach.
Yeah, dude. And that was like a common thing when I would look up like people doing it. They said the same thing, dude. Like my stomach fucking hurts.
Didn't SB like throw up a bunch?
Yeah. Remember she was like contemplating calling the fucking ambulance?
Oh, that's right.
She was like, yeah, she had a bad experience, dude. She still beat you though, dude.
No.
Yeah. I remember. You were the first one.
Was I the first one or was Hector? Oh, no. She was about to be. She was like, oh, I'm done. And she picked up her milk. But she's like, wait, hold on. And then that's when I was like, fuck this. I'm out.
Yeah, that was a bad time, dude.
She was tight. Hey, let's do it again.
Fuck no, dude. Do they still make it or no?
Yeah, it's a seasonal thing, though.
Oh, okay. Because I know that one kid died. So I was like,
Oh,
maybe they
you know
take it
what?
out. And I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it in a while.
So I don't know, dude.
I do know it's a seasonal thing though, but yeah, I haven't seen it in a while.
It might be like a Four Loko thing where it comes back, but it's not as bad.
Whack. Why did the Four Loko? What was it like? Was that dangerous as well? Or
I think it was just the amount of alcohol and sugar and caffeine.
dude, that's so bomb.
Fuck no, dude. Dude, the one time I blacked out was because of a Four Loko, and
You smelled it or what?
dude, for like months, like whenever I would be around anyone that had that drink, dude, just smelling it, dude, it made me feel sick, dude.
That's what's up.
It was so bad, dude.
That's what's up, homie.
All I remember is the only thing I remember for that night is throwing up in the backyard with Ryan taking care of me, dude.
That's what's up, homie.
Shout out to the homie Ryan.
And what backyard?
Josiah's backyard.
The pool?
Yeah.
Dude. Wait, was it a party when that happened?
It was like a little kickback. It wasn't a party.
Because I remember being there for a party, and I remember somebody throwing up, but they were throwing up into the pool.
No, I didn't do that.
Because Ryan had that, like, it was kind of like a little shack, right? In the back?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
No, it was just I was throwing up in the backyard, but not in the pool. I was considerate.
I remember that the time I'm thinking of is like when like the Nasty Boys was a thing.
He did have a lot of parties back there, so
Yeah.
yeah, it might have been one of those.
I remember being there for his high school graduation party, and that shit was pretty crazy.
Yeah, dude. What's up, Josiah?
Oh man, have you seen him lately? He's all fucking buff.
Well, I mean, just like on IG.
Yeah,
like,
on IG.
But yeah, I was like, damn, dude. That's what you've been up to like the past.
For real.
Well, I haven't seen him like in 10 years.
No, last time I saw
More?
him in person was in Sound and Fury.
Oh, you say you ran into him, huh?
2023, I think. Yeah.
Damn. So you already got your ticket
Mm-hmm.
and your hotel?
Ticket and hotel for 2025.
Man, I want to go, dude. I had fun last year.
Go, homie. Project Pat.
I know, dude.
Good googly moogly. That thing's juicy. Dude, it's gonna be sick.
It is going to be sick, dude.
There's another group that was announced on it called Nuevo Testamento. They're kind of like a house music type of group, I think. Like more techno along the lines. I was like, oh, that's another one that's kind of out there, you know?
I'm always interested like in those bands. There's
Yeah.
always like 2 or 3 that like really stand out.
Last year was Kumo 99, I think, with the Asian girl.
Oh, yeah.
And people were like going pretty crazy for them.
Yeah.
That shit was pretty tight.
And Provoker.
Oh, yeah, and Provoker.
That was weird seeing them too.
Shit was tight.
But yeah, I'm curious to see like the few bands they have left to announce.
Yeah.
Cause I feel like it's a solid lineup, but like I know they're gonna like save the heavy hitters to the end.
And I wonder if there's going to be another surprise set.
Yeah. Same spot. Everything's the same.
Yeah, so, because they always do a Q&A on Instagram, and somebody had asked, like, if it was going to be in the same location, and they said yes, but different stage setup. So we'll see. See how it is.
I don't know. I like the setup how it was because you can literally stand in the middle and like just look a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right.
I think they're going to keep it like that side by side. I just think they're going to have the stage placements in a different spot. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Because people do seem to like the side by side stage setup.
I think that's so much better, dude.
Yeah. But I remember talking to Andrew about that because he worked sound for a couple of the bands last year.
Yeah.
And he said it kind of sucked because while they were trying to do sound check for one band, there's another band playing next to them and like
Oh, gotcha.
so it was kind of like fucking with shit.
I can see that.
But otherwise, because I think he did sound for Desmadre and Nothing and Full of Hell.
Yeah.
Should go, dude.
I want to, dude.
And then Integrity in October with Judge and Earth Crisis. Did you ever get into Judge or Earth Crisis?
I didn't get that much into Judge. I like them, but you know, it wasn't crazy. Earth Crisis, I got into them like super late. But I think they're fucking dope.
Yeah.
But Integrity, dude, that's like, you know, who doesn't like Integrity?
Yeah. Yeah, Integrity's fucking sick. I definitely want to go. Tickets are pretty expensive though, but I don't think it'll sell out. 1720 is a pretty big spot.
Yeah, that place is massive.
So
I feel like it's perfect for that kind of show because I feel like
yeah,
there's gonna be a ton of people there.
yeah. So we'll see. All right. Well, so when did you watch Anora?
I watched Anora about 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what was it streaming on? What did you watch it on? It was
Hulu.
okay. Yeah, so yeah, it just popped up, and I think I just clicked on it, not thinking like, oh, I'm gonna watch it. But yeah, I ended up watching the whole thing, and I'm a huge Sean Baker fan. I know this movie was getting a lot of hype.
Yeah.
It had a lot of like buzz, and I was curious about it because like I feel like every movie he does, it's pretty unique. It's pretty like it focuses on kind of like a different type of person in each one. Because you had mentioned how you just saw what was it, Tangerine, right?
Yeah.
And that was that was his first. I don't want to say big movie because it was shot on an iPhone.
Yeah.
But I remember that movie Tangerine. I kept hearing people talking about it, like, oh, a movie that was shot on an iPhone and blah blah blah. But this one, like, you can tell it's shot on an iPhone.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there is like
I saw the setup, and it's literally an iPhone with like a small attachment for I think the camera, or it might be for a microphone, and then like on a little stabilizer. And that's it.
yeah. There's like nothing. There's like it's not like a gimmick,
Yeah.
It's not like like the screenshot you showed me of the 28 years later,
Oh yeah.
where it's like an iPhone, but it has like all these lenses and like crazy shit around it. I'm like, that's stupid. At
Thing
that
was
point,
huge.
dude. At that point, just get a fucking camera, dude.
Yeah. At that point, it just seems like they're using the iPhone just for like the computer of it, like because it has all these other attachments to it. You know?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, even just get a shitty camera. Like, a shitty camera is still gonna be better than that. But no, but this is like Tangerine was. You can totally tell like it's shot with an iPhone, because it was like back when iPhones weren't even like, the videos weren't like.
It was an iPhone 5S that he used.
Yeah,
He used 3 of them.
Damn, see.
He used 3 of them, and one of them, I believe, he submitted to like the Academy Award Museum because they have it on display there.
Oh.
And then he kept one, and I don't know what he did with the other one.
So yeah, and that was like back when like now like the cameras on iPhones are fucking insane.
Yeah.
So it was even before that, but I think the storytelling is so fucking good that you kind of get lost into
You're
it.
talking about Tangerine.
Tangerine, yeah.
Okay.
This let's make our way up to Anora then.
All right. So then, in that case, like, is Tangerine like your introduction to Sean Baker?
Yeah. It was the
Okay.
first one I saw of his. Yeah, and the way I found out about it, what caught my interest was the whole shot on iPhone thing.
Yeah.
But so right off the bat, it was kind of hard for me to get into it because you're like, automatically when you start watching this movie, it's very clear that it is shot on iPhone, and it's not, I guess by like Hollywood standards, it's not a pretty looking movie.
Yeah.
There's like really hard cuts.
Yeah.
There's like times where there's 2 people talking, and there'll be a cut, and it'll be like the same shot setup, but you'll notice like the people in the background, it's like completely different people. So he's not really caring about like continuity
Yeah.
as far as like the extras in the background, because I don't think there was any extras. Like
Not really. Yeah.
it was all shot really like guerrilla style.
Yeah.
And so like it took me a little bit to get into it, but once the ball gets rolling, dude, you get invested in these characters, and it just sucks you in. And dude, I love that movie. From the first time I watched it, I'm like, dude, this was a really powerful movie to me.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you feel about it?
So my introduction to Sean Baker was actually Florida Project. That was the first movie I saw of his, and I love that movie. I thought that's how I felt about that movie. It was like a very powerful movie. And then I remember you and Birdie would always tell me like, "Oh, you guys got to watch Tangerine," or "You got to watch Tangerine."
Mm-hmm.
And I was always like, "Yeah, I'll watch it. I'll watch it." And then I saw like, "Oh, shot on the iPhone," so that kind of deterred me from it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I don't know. And so I just never made it a priority or like even tried, to watch it. And then when I saw Anora, after watching Anora is what made me be like, okay, I got to watch Tangerine.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it on and yeah, you could totally tell it's shot on an iPhone. But I don't know. As much as you could say like, oh, it kind of looks like dirty or like it looks kind of like not beautiful. It is kind of beautiful in a way. Some of the shots, you know what I mean?
It's weird to explain, huh?
Yeah, like especially at the beginning when they're in like the is it the donut shop at the beginning?
Oh yeah.
And they're talking and like you just see like the glare from the sunset, and it just like it looks bad, but it looks beautiful. I don't know how to explain it.
I feel like it fits the movie well.
Yeah.
Just because of who those characters are, where the setting of LA, like, it's very like it's hard to explain because I know exactly what you mean, because I thought that movie was extremely pretty.
Yeah.
But like I said, by like Hollywood standards, like it's not.
No,
you
yeah.
know, like
it's not gonna win any cinematography awards.
Yeah, but at the same time, like it feels like it's one of the more prettier films of that I've seen. Like there's even scenes like later on in the film when they're like at the bar and they're in the bathroom and like just the way the lighting is and everything. Like it's just, I don't know, it just works because it works because it's low quality.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I just feel like I don't know. I didn't look up too much behind the scenes on it, so I don't think like he really had like this giant fucking production around it. I feel like he probably used a lot of like natural lighting and like.
I think he did because I know the budget was like $100,000 or something like that. Nothing too crazy by today's standards, especially. And yeah, like I saw the camera set up, and the crew was like very small crew, and like because I saw this video where he talks about where he's at the location of the donut spot, which it's funny because it's called Donut Time.
Yeah.
And like I remember like the Donut Time by Norte Vista.
Yeah.
So, but it's now a fucking Trejo's Tacos and Donuts.
Oh really?
Yeah. So it's like owned by Danny Trejo. But he's in there and he's like explaining like everything in here's pretty much still built the same. He's just kind of blocked this area off now. But he talks about how tight it was in there to be filming. But because his setup was so small because it was an iPhone, it was a lot easier to maneuver around. And like, it's just kind of crazy to think that he did just use just an iPhone.
Yeah. And I feel like that helped also with like like I don't want to call them extras, but just the people behind, because if you're with the whole like large camera crew and you do have like a large camera, like it's very distracting. So I feel like walking the streets, like people are gonna be like, "Whoa, what's that?" And I feel like if you're just walking around with like an iPhone on a little gimbal, like it's like, oh, it's probably just a blogger or something, like nothing crazy. So I feel like that kind of helped with I guess keeping the people in the real world like doing their own thing, without having to kind of direct them. But what do you call it? The whole movie, dude. Like I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Because I mean I still don't even really. I can't really pinpoint like if it's like a drama, if it's like, because I mean, what would you think?
It has its funny moments, like do make you laugh. It almost feels like a biopic in a way, but about nobody specific. More about that life.
Yeah, dude.
Because it felt very documentary style.
Yeah.
And I know that's the kind of story he wanted to tell, because it all takes place basically on Santa Monica Boulevard on like a specific corner, because he had said something about he would see all these people, these like sex workers, specifically like trans sex workers, and he knows they have crazy stories. So he wanted to make a story like representing that. And so one of the actresses, the actress that plays Alexandra, her name is Maya. She's trans, and she's lived that life. And this was her first acting gig.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, so the one thing that all his movies have in common, dude, they all tell a story, and they kind of leave it up to you to like he'll leave it up to the audience to like let it sit with them.
Yeah.
And you know, like how do you feel about this? You know, he doesn't really like a typical movie will when they're having like a dramatic scene or something, it'll be like some sad ass music playing, and he'll kind of like try to lean. They'll lean towards something like a feeling, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, I really want this to be like a sad scene. So you know, this melancholy music will be playing, and this lighting will be a certain way, and they'll try to like provoke a mood out of the audience. And I feel like he doesn't do that.
No.
It like he's really old school, and he kind of leaves it up to you because a lot of stuff happens in this movie, and he leaves it to the audience to kind of be like, how, like, I don't know, kind of sit within, like, how do you feel about this situation?
Yeah.
What would you do in this situation? And you know, like this movie made me really sad too, dude. Like,
Yeah, it's sad. It's a sad movie.
yeah, dude. Because I mean, you're thrown in this world of like these trans prostitutes and their everyday struggles and stuff like that. Stuff that no movie really ever touches on.
Yeah.
No filmmaker in Hollywood is really ever gonna like, you know, like not in a realistic way like this, you know.
Yeah.
Like if I feel like if a Hollywood movie did want to do this, so they'll either romanticize it or like they'll just make it super over the top dramatic, and this one is just, it's done so realistically, like you said, it's almost like documentary style. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And like I think the overall thing I got, like feeling I you know that I left with after watching this movie was like man, hold on to your friends.
Yes.
Because like a lot of shitty stuff happens, and like the two main characters in this, like they're kind of against each other throughout the whole movie, you know, but they're also kind of sticking with each other because they're trans, dude. They're like the minority, you know, and you know, and they explore that, you know, they explore like the hardships they have to go through. The one of the characters that's in this movie is a guy that has like a whole ass family.
Oh, the cab driver?
The cab driver, and what do you call it? He ends up like falling in love with one of them, and they kind of explore like the everyday people like that, you know, the people that, you know, are living like a separate, like secret life, you know, that nobody knows about, and like I said, like it doesn't make it dramatic, it doesn't linger on it too much. It just shows you what it is, and it leaves it up to you to decide how you're gonna feel about like certain situations. And I love that, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's not digested for you. It's just like, I'm gonna show you this, and you know, it's up for you to make up how you feel about this.
Yeah.
About these characters, and I mean that's how I felt about like the Florida Project too. You know. Yeah, but Tangerine, dude, I love it. I always recommend that movie, especially like if you're like really interested in filmmaking. Like I think it's a great movie to show that if you have a strong story, strong characters, like you don't need all the fucking fancy shit.
Yeah.
You know? You don't need all that fancy shit, and that's what I feel like the whole like 28 days later or 28 years later thing. Like I feel like that one, like the whole iPhone thing, is a gimmick.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, it might be a great movie and all, you know, but I do feel like it's kind of a gimmick because it's like I feel like it worked with Tangerine because it is a low budget movie. It's about, you know, real people dealing with real situations, and like the grittiness of the iPhone footage like just added to that.
Yeah.
It felt like it was the right atmosphere for that. Like and so like I don't know, like anybody that's just interested in filmmaking, like I highly suggest you watch this movie. And if just to anyone that's like, I don't know, dude, because now like we're Trump's president, dude. I feel like all the races feel comfortable now. All the fucking hardcore, fucking macho, blah blah blah. Like, it's like, open your heart and watch this fucking movie, dude. Like, it's showing you a side that you'll never get to see through most movies.
Yeah.
And it's like, leave it up to fucking Sean Baker to make a film like this, you know?
For real.
And
Because he
give them a
does.
voice, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say that. Yeah, exactly. Like gives him a voice. Because like a majority of his stories are from like stories from marginalized communities, you know. And it's funny because the cab driver, he's also in Anora.
Mm-hmm.
And when it was funny when I was watching Tangerine, he popped up and I'm like, damn, this guy looks super familiar. And then when I saw his mole,
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, it's the guy from fucking Anora. That's tight.
And also the one of the one of the girls that's in Tangerine is also in Anora.
Really?
At the end, the one that's doing all the paperwork,
Uh-huh.
the white girl,
Yeah.
blonde girl,
Yeah.
the one who they kind of kidnap in Tangerine. They drag her everywhere.
Oh, she's like super skinny.
Yeah, she's super skinny. She's kind of a junkie.
That's her?
Yeah,
No way.
yeah, she's the one that does all the paperwork.
And Anora.
Mm-hmm.
Holy
At the
shit.
very end.
I didn't even recognize her.
Yeah, she and I don't think she's like an actor. They probably just like, hey, I worked on her on this movie, like this movie back, because I don't think I've seen her in anything else.
I recognize the guy that played the pimp and the boyfriend of one of the prostitutes, the white guy
The
in Tangerine.
the main guy that has like he's dressed like he has like the hat and stuff.
He's dressed like Jamie Kennedy in Malibu's Most Wanted.
Yeah, dude, that guy's
I
fucking
recognize him.
hilarious.
I recognize him from other stuff, but I don't know.
I didn't recognize him, but his character is funny, dude.
One scene I did think was funny too is like the first time you see the cab driver pick up a prostitute, and they go to like an alley, and like he's like starts taking her pants off, and like he's like, what is this? And she's all, it's a pussy. He's like, get the fuck out of my car! Like,
she wanted he wanted a dick.
yeah, and like it's funny because like as he's kicking her out of the car, he's like saying like, you're on the wrong street. Like you're working the wrong street. That's not your turf.
Yeah,
He's kind of like protecting that for the trans
Yeah.
prostitutes, you know, which I thought was pretty funny.
yeah. There's a lot of scenes like that. There's also like some hard to watch scenes, like when they are looking for like that girl's boyfriend. And they go to like that little motel, and there's like a bunch of junkies in there, and like it's just it the way it's shot, and like the way that, because they don't have like, I guess, real actors,
Yeah.
like it makes it look so realistic, dude. Like if you would have showed me that scene like out of context, like I would have, and you would have been like, oh yeah, they busted like, this whatever blah blah. Like I would have like, I would have thought that was real, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy how real like these characters feel,
Yeah, definitely.
But Tangerine, I think it's a beautiful movie. It's a great movie about, the hardships, for minorities like trans, and also just about friendship.
Yeah.
Sticking through thick and thin, and just kind of just helping each other out. Especially like I said, like if you're in that minority, you guys gotta stick together. But I love this movie, dude. I have like my second sight copy of it, like beautiful cover. But it's like a movie I watch every other year. Like I for some reason I think I'm so like in love with the way it's shot and everything that it has like a lot of replay value to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you want to end it with that one?
Well, I'm gonna transition it, but I gotta blow my nose, so
Hell
I'm
yeah,
gonna pause
do
it.
dude.
All right.
So Tangerine, would you recommend it?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. You own it. I didn't know there was a second site release on
Yeah,
it. So
and I don't think that one. I think that one's always in stock too. So
I'll probably pick that up. But I watched it on Max, so if anybody wants to watch it like today, I would highly suggest watching it. It's on Max. But like I said, this Sean Baker tells stories, marginalized communities. This one he chooses like the trans black community. who are like prostitutes, and it shows like the bleakness and like the hardships and like all the crazy shit that they go through in this movie. And then you have like I would say would be the contrast of that in Anora, this like conventionally attractive young white woman
Mm-hmm.
who works in this high end strip club and who also does sex work on the side.
Mm-hmm.
But she has like this like hope of a fairy tale ending which I think is what causes her to be so willing to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go along with this, marriage. But what did you think of Honora?
So Anora, I enjoyed it. I feel like it from the his films. I feel like it's my least favorite though.
Yeah.
Only because some scenes do feel like too. I feel like it has too many conveniences in this movie, and I feel like it's probably his biggest like budget film.
It's definitely his biggest budget film.
So I don't know. I liked it. I'm trying to think of like what I didn't like, and it's not. There's not a much that I didn't like because overall I enjoyed the film. I did feel like it was kind of predictable, and also like because I feel like because I can't relate to any of these characters, like it was hard for me to give a shit about them. Like I know that sounds mean, but like I don't know because it was just like rich Russian kid, spoiled kid, like he hires he meets meets Honora, she's a stripper, and then pretty much hires her as like, hey, like you're my personal like stripper slash sex worker, and like I'm gonna pay you all this money just to be my own. And then eventually like she starts catching feelings for him, and he gives her a proposal, like, hey, you want to get married and blah blah blah. She says yeah. They get married in Vegas, and then that's like when the shit hits the fan. Does it ever really say what the dad does?
No.
Not really, right?
Mm-mm.
So but it's kind of like implied that he kind of he's a powerful rich dude from Russia who most likely is some type of mafia or something like that.
Maybe has some sort of ties, but it never really says.
Yeah, but it kind of you kind of get the point that he can be dangerous, like he's someone you definitely don't want to mess with, and
I actually think it might be the mom.
I can see that, yeah,
because he seems more like
he did not give a shit. He was
didn't
like
give
laughing
a fuck.
the whole
Yeah.
time.
It was the mom that was kind of like,
yeah. So okay, so once the kid he's in Chicago.
I think they're in New York or New Jersey, I think.
Okay, some U.S. city, and this kid is like by himself in this giant mansion, and they're just living the life, the newlywed life. She pretty much has it made now, with him, and I guess word gets out that he got married, and that's like I said, like the family starts tripping out, sends like his caretakers slash like bodyguards slash like goons, I don't know, to go find out if this marriage is real, and if it is, like go what do they call it,
annulled.
Get
it annulled.
Yeah, so and that's kind of the premise of the film. They show up, he ends up running away, so they the whole they end up finding going in, figuring out, okay, this marriage is real. We gotta go take care of this now. And the kid, I can't remember his name. Do you remember?
Vanya. Well, Ivan, but his like Russian name is Vanya.
Okay, yeah. So he ends up running away. So like the majority of the film is just them looking for him. So it's these two like kind of like guns for hire, Anora, and then like one of the main guys who is like the
his
driver.
caretaker, basically.
Yeah, his like personal caretaker, the one that the family trusted. Like, hey, you look after him. Who's also like a priest or something. Like
yeah. He's like, I think,
like a Jewish. I don't even know if they would call him priest or whatever. Rabbi, maybe. Yeah.
No, I think he's a priest.
Yeah.
I don't know. He has some involvement with the church because he's doing like a baptism or something. Doing
Yeah.
something.
I don't know. That shit's fake anyway. So,
Yeah.
anyways, yeah. So the majority of the film, like they're just looking for
Vanya.
yeah, Vanya, because he's just ran away, and they're trying to get him within a certain time period so they can you know backtrack on this marriage. And the whole time she's just arguing like, no, he loves me,
Like, we're in love, He gave me this ring. Like, I'm going to be his wife forever.
yeah. So she's very like, still like living that in her head, like, hey, like
I made it.
yeah, like he really cares about me, he loves me, like that's why we're married, blah blah blah. And the whole time they're just fucking treating her like shit.
Yeah.
Like, especially that the main caretaker for the kid, he's calling her a slut, prostitute, like just saying like, oh, you're nobody, like that's all you are, like you can never be part of this family, like we're a big deal and you're just a whore, and he's saying that to her face,
Yeah.
like just putting her down the whole fucking time. And he eventually offers her like 10 grand to end the marriage and blah blah blah. And then I think like in her head it's like, okay, once we find him, like I'll get through to him and like he can just tell him like, no, we're not doing this, like this marriage is real. And they go on this whole adventure trying to find him. And when they eventually do, he's just like super shit faced. He's like at a strip club, and
The strip club she used to work at when she quit.
Yeah.
Dancing, getting a dance from her like hater, her like biggest hater there.
Yeah, her arch nemesis of
Yeah.
that strip club. So they get into it, and the whole time this kid just doesn't give a shit. He's just like a spoiled kid who's just drunk and just wants to have fun. And eventually, like I think he calls her stupid or something like that, like for like
the when yeah, he does that when they finally get him and they go to the courthouse and to speak in front of the judge to get it annulled. And when the judge asks them like, is this marriage like a sham or whatever, she kind of tries to backtrack, like, no, they're trying to force us to do this, like we're in love, like. And then that's when it's revealed that they actually got married in Vegas, so they can't do that annulment in New York or New Jersey,
wherever they're at.
yeah. So they have to go to do it in Vegas. So that's when they get they're on their way to the private jet to get on the plane. And then she's like arguing with him because he's not fighting back against his parents. Like he's going along with it.
Yeah.
And then like they're getting close to the entrance of the plane, and she's all like, "You're really gonna do this? Like, what, are you serious?" And he's like, "Of course. Are you stupid?"
Yeah. And that was like the
wake up call.
Yeah, that she I think deep down inside she knew. She was just like in her head, like, oh no, this is real, like fairy tales are real, this is really gonna work out for me, blah blah blah. But yeah, so eventually they go through with the divorce. And he even says like, oh, thanks for making me like my last trip to the US like fun or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's all he cared about. That's
all he cared
what he
about.
got out of it.
Yeah.
Like his parents had to take care of everything for him. Like you can tell like this kid is never gonna have a hard time in his life, And meanwhile, she's over here miserable, like having like the shittiest day ever and blah blah blah. And eventually, like it's not till the very end where she's with one of the, I guess one of like the goons. His name is like Igor.
Igor.
Igor. She ends up like, I guess, being so vulnerable that she like tries to like have sex with him at the end, and it's like very awkward and very like forced. And then she just starts like crying in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like the whole time, the whole movie, that's what you're kind of waiting for. That release, I guess. She finally has someone she feels somewhat comfortable enough to cry and be vulnerable around.
Yeah.
And that's like where the movie ends. But yeah, dude, I like the movie. I feel like it was like, I don't know, like I like that it shows that, like it starts off like a typical like Hollywood, like, oh, like kind of like what's that movie, Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
But obviously it doesn't have that kind of ending. But I don't know, dude. I had a hard time like feeling bad for her a little bit. Like maybe just because I don't know, maybe I'm shitty, but like I like the whole time you're just like, what did you expect? Like,
Yeah.
it's clear, dude, that this kid, like, all he cares about was himself. From from the very beginning, and she pretty much like fucked up her own life just to, pursue that. But I thought the acting was great. It looked good. But I feel like it was missing the kind of that grittiness that I liked from his other films. And I feel like this one was definitely leaning more towards a drama
Yeah.
because, like, I don't know, like, I feel like this one was trying to evoke more feelings out of you than the other films where it was just, like, very, like, plain. And, like, I feel like that's more powerful to me because then it's, like, it leaves me lingering, like, how should I feel about the situation? And I feel like I didn't really get that too much in this one.
Yeah, there's more. I agree with everything you're saying. This movie definitely did feel like a safe bet.
Yeah,
know what
I
I
felt
mean?
too safe.
Yeah, and I also I loved the movie. Like I thought it was great, but I also had a feeling of like oh, that's it. Like it felt like it was missing something, but I
Yeah,
don't know what.
dude, it's funny because I feel the same exact way. Like, yeah, at the end, I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, I didn't hate it, but it did leave me feeling like, okay, like, and like I said, like it could have been maybe because I did think it. I mean, to me, it was kind of predictable, and
yeah.
like,
I actually thought it was gonna be revealed that he was underage
oh,
because they kept calling him like he's a kid,
yeah,
and then I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, okay, he's like obsessed with video games, but I mean that's not really
dude, that's one thing that pissed me off about this movie.
what.
When he's playing video games, the way he's playing with the controller,
What is he playing?
dude,
What is he playing?
I was like, dude, you can totally tell he's not playing a real game.
Yeah.
Because like there's parts where he's using like all four fingers to hit like the triangle and X. Like he's smacking it like downward, like in a vertical position. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's so dumb, dude.
I hate when movies. It's the equivalent of like in those old sitcoms when it shows people driving like on a fake road, but they're just moving their hands back and forth on the steering wheel.
Yeah, and when in reality it'd be like so casual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, dude, nobody plays like this.
Yeah.
It was taking me out, dude. I'm not gonna lie, dude. But yeah, dude.
But yeah, and yeah, I was constantly getting frustrated with Mikey Madison's character, Anora, just because I'm like, she was just coming off very, very naive.
Yeah,
And I was just like, come on, like you cannot be buying into this shit. Like, but I get it, it's part of the story, it's part of the plot,
and maybe that's the point, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like Lahane and those movies. Like, you're throwing these characters that aren't that likable, and you're just like, what are you doing? Like, you just want to
Yeah.
choke them, But at the same time, it's kind of like, dude, like, why aren't we that patient with them? Like, are we part of the problem, dude?
Maybe, homie.
Shit.
Maybe, shit. do.
Nah, bro, we're good.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
No, but I did feel the same way, dude. I feel like there was still like, I was still wanting a little more.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I don't know. I did think the ending was kind of like, oh, okay, that's it. Like, all this, and that's all we get. Like, but, I mean, I don't know. Like, to me, like, I feel like I would be okay never watching this again.
Yeah. Would
Like-
you own it?
I don't think so, dude.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm. I mean, if they, like, release, like, a cool, like, Sean Baker, like, box set
Oh,
one
of
day,
course,
maybe,
yeah.
but not on its own, just because I feel like, I mean, if I was to watch it, like, I wouldn't like want to watch it anytime soon again, just because like it is a pretty long movie, and that's like what the thing that separates from like Tangerine and Florida Project. Like they're a lot shorter,
Yeah.
and so I feel like this one is longer and like
Yeah, no, Anora I think is almost 2.5 hours.
yeah,
And then Tangerine's only 83 minutes.
see, like and I feel like this movie didn't need to be that long either,
Yeah.
and like I don't know, dude. Like just something about it didn't hit as hard as the other films, but I still recommend it.
Yeah, I still recommend
when I was
it.
watching it, dude, like I was gonna suggest it for you guys to watch, but I'm like, I know Jose wouldn't want to watch this because he had mentioned before like how he hates sex scenes.
Yeah.
It's like full of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sex in this, and it just like it lingers a lot on the sex.
Yeah.
So I feel like he'd be kind of awkward and be like, "Ewy."
Ewy.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
Exact
"Ugh."
words. Oh, gross! Stop.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I did enjoy the movie. It did leave me feeling like, oh, that's it. So yeah, I wouldn't own it either.
Yeah, and one thing that bugged me too was like in the scenes where they go to the strip clubs, there's like never any bouncers anywhere.
Right?
And I was like, dude, like, no, like especially like in the back where like the private rooms are, like I'm in my head, I'm like, there's not one single bouncer there because these guys they just walk in.
Yeah.
There's no security, nothing, and it's like obviously like they're a problem, like, and to me like little details like that kind of like take me out, and that's the first thing I thought of, like, where's all the security? Where are the bodyguards? Like, it's a strip club, and it's like a high-end strip club, so it's like, there's like people there. Because I remember when they start fighting, like in the strip club, they go to get like the manager, and I'm like,
where are the bouncers?
yeah, there's like no one there to stop
Where's
it.
security
Like,
at?
it's like the girls pulling off each other.
Yeah.
Like, it's really dumb. That kind of took me out too, and I feel like that's just an amateur mistake. Because I mean, anybody that's ever been in a strip club would know, like, there's security everywhere.
This almost feels like somebody watched Tangerine and was like, went up to Sean Baker, like, all right, we're gonna give you a bunch of money to redo this movie, but instead of having black trans prostitutes, make it a hot white stripper in New York and change the whole story.
Yeah, and then that could be like why I didn't give a shit either.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, because she just comes off as, like you said, very very naive and like almost kind of dumb a little bit, like, because she just keeps getting herself in situations and just making it worse, and I don't know, it's just like the kid was not likable at all.
Oh no, not
So
at
it's
all.
like, and it's very clear she was just desperate to like make it big, rich, and like really fast, But I still recommend it. At least check it, like a one-time checkout for me.
Because I do think like her acting is good.
Yeah,
Mikey
it was.
Madison, she's
Yeah.
a great actress. So I don't know.
Somebody should have gave that kid some like a PS5 to play for like a week.
For real.
But
That motherfucker not playing anything.
yeah, but it definitely was not at all a bad film. Like, I feel like if it wasn't connected to Sean Baker and I watched it, I would have been like, oh, it was good, But I feel like, maybe because I expected more from him.
Yeah.
Like, and I know I shouldn't like let that impact like his, any new movies he makes, but I hold like Florida Project and Tangerine on such a high like pedestal, dude. But
I'm still gotta watch Red Rocket.
yeah, that's the only one. I'm missing that one.
That's the only one I haven't seen also.
But Florida Project. How did you get into that one?
So the reason I even watched that one was because it was actually like during the early days of this podcast. We had did an episode with Desiree about motherhood, and we had watched Tully, starring Charlize Theron.
God, yeah, I remember that.
And I remember I was watching movies that had to do with like motherhood, and Florida Project was one of the ones that came up on the list. And I watched it, and I remember like that movie like broke my heart and like pissed me off because the main character reminded me a lot of a cousin of mine. As far as like,
It's funny that you say that, dude. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
But because when I was watching that movie, immediately like my head went to like a bunch of people I know.
yeah,
Like that same attitude, the
Yep.
same kind of like the way they carry themselves, the way they act, talk. Like, dude, I see that person in so many people.
yeah.
And she is not a great person.
Nope.
So it's
Like
sad.
the only like I guess you could say good quality is she does seem to care about her daughter to an extent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just sad to see like the daughter's kind of just on her own, and she's a little ass girl, and that shit though, dude, the ending like fucking broke my heart.
Yeah, dude. Um, Same here, dude. Like, so this is when I was talking about earlier, like how like when in Tangerine, like when they go to like that motel and they find like all the sex workers and all the little like the junkies and like stuff like obviously like doing like probably heroin or
Yeah.
something. Like it looks so real and they feel real. Like everyone in this movie felt real. Like the acting, the way they portray like these characters, and like the kids, dude. Like how like they're I mean they are kids, they didn't get fucking 30-year-olds to be fucking
For real.
16-year-old. But no, but they're like legitimately like they're little kids, and I love that the camera is just kind of following them on their little adventures, and it's nothing epic. It's just like them eating ice cream,
Yeah.
like hanging out, like being kids and living in Florida in this like bright purple motel, like motel.
And it's like right near Disney World or some shit.
Yeah, so you have that, and it's clear. They make it clear because like everywhere they go, all the stores, it's all like a bunch of Disney stuff. So they're like in the shadow of Disney,
Yeah.
and they're the whole movie like they're always in the shadow of Disneyland, which is like every kid's fantasy to go, every kid's dream to go. What kid wouldn't want to go to Disneyland,
Yeah.
And the this is like it's hard to explain his movies because like there's like no clear like story, like
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of scenes in that take place in this motel revolving around a mom and her daughter, and then a daughter with her friends, and then the motel manager, which is played by
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe, who does an amazing job. He's so good in this, and I feel like, man, his character is so lovable, dude.
Yeah.
Because you can tell he gives a shit about his tenants, and
Yeah.
he cares so much about these little kids, and he's kind of like almost like a guardian angel, like kind of looking
Yeah.
over them, like because I think he even knows like the type of people that come to these motels, and like his the little girl's mom. I don't remember her name.
I don't remember the name
But
either.
the main character, her mom is like clearly like trying to make money like any way possible. So she's like selling like probably like cheap like perfume like knockoffs and like doing like sex work too. And this is all like in this hotel, like in this I keep saying motel, and like right under her daughter's nose,
Yeah.
And it's so fucking depressing, dude. And it's so sad, but it's done so realistically. It's not like, like that's what I love about his movies. Like he doesn't make it so dramatic to the point where it's not even like believable.
Yeah.
Like, because like you said, like she does care about her daughter, but she's also like not a great mom.
Yeah.
So she's still like doing all this sex work with her, like in the bathroom, and like,
Dude, that shit. Oh
like
my
just
god.
pretty much like, oh, stay in the room, play with your play in the bath, and like it's so like it's realistic because like that's the type of shit that would happen. But there's no music to make it dramatic. There's no scene of the daughter crying and like, and
you know what? To speak on that, I think he does that because music would add this like
we want the audience to feel a certain way.
Yeah, we want the audience to feel a certain way, and it'll like make it seem, I guess, cinematic. But with no music, it almost makes it normal. It makes it like this is their reality.
Yeah, dude, and that's what I love. Like it doesn't digest it for you. So, like what I feel like watching that scene, the person next to me, they could feel the same thing, or like it could be completely different for them.
Yeah.
And dude, like I fucking love this movie. I think it. Like sometimes I struggle between Tangerine and this one, which is my favorite. But I think the Florida Project I like just a tad bit more. And just because like I can relate to those kids, I can relate to like being what's his name
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe's character, and kind of like trying to be there for them, but it's also like I'm not their dad. Like I don't want to overstep my boundary. I can only do so much, to try to help them out. And like I said, dude, I know those people. I've seen them. I still till this day see those type of people, you know, and even coworkers, and it's fucking sad, dude.
Yeah.
These kids that get that kind of neglect and I I would say abuse, but it's not your typical like physical or emotional abuse. Like
It's that type of abuse that they're not gonna feel for until they're older.
you can tell that yeah, they're gonna be fucked up when they're older, and they're 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 not really gonna be able to pinpoint why exactly. But if they like, I think I mean, if they connect the dots, like they
Yeah.
can kind of figure it out. And yeah, dude, it's just really sad, dude. And like the whole movie, you're just waiting, like, okay, what's gonna happen, and what's gonna happen, you know? And then eventually, she gets um um her little girl is gonna be taken away, and she ends up like running away.
Does somebody call?
I believe so.
I think because she has like a rival, right?
Well, it's her friend, and then they're not friends anymore
That's right.
because
That's
like
right.
the mom has like a best friend that they're always hanging out together, and their daughters are always hanging out together. And then if they end up starting a fire, remember they sneak into like the abandoned little warehouse thing,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and that's what I
right.
mean. Like their parents are nowhere to be found. Like they're just like kind of letting them like roam around this motel complex to do whatever the hell they want, and like they're the type of them like, okay, when I need them, like, you know, when the sun's going down, I'll go call them or whatever. But they're like little kids, like they
Yeah.
shouldn't, you know, be roaming around like that.
Like 6, 7 years old.
Yeah, and they're like roaming far. Like
Yeah.
you know, they go to this abandoned building and they end up starting a fire, and then they kind of get freaked out. And one of the little girls ends up telling the mom, like, "Hey, like, oh no, it was a boy, right?
Was it the little boy?
I think the boy ends
Because I
up.
think the little boy, his family's staying like at a neighboring motel.
I think so, but it gets out that they kind of had something to do with it. So then that girl's like, okay, I don't want my daughter to be hanging out with your daughter, because
Okay, I remember the best friend now because they get food from her.
yeah,
Okay, I remember
yeah.
now.
So yeah, they pretty much get into it saying what you know, like my daughter shouldn't be around your daughter because she's a bad example around her. And then our main characters, you know, her mom's like trying to defend her, and they're like, no, you know, fuck you. Like they're the type to cuss around the kids too,
Yeah.
and like get drunk around them and act like a fool. And that's the type of shit that the little kids are gonna grow up thinking like that's okay and all that. That's why, dude. Like I fucking like that's one of my things with alcohol, dude. Like I hate that. Like it's such a norm now that like I hate that kids are gonna grow up thinking like it's okay, when in reality like alcohol kills more people than any drug.
It's probably the worst one.
Yeah,
It's the worst poison.
Yeah, dude. Like you're slowly killing
Shit bomb,
yourself. The only cool people do it, all right. But yeah, like like she's just that type of mom, and she just ends up and you know, maybe her daughter is a bad example because they have no control. Like she has no real like parenting.
Yeah.
There's nobody to tell her what's right from wrong, what, you know, like what is okay, what isn't, you know, nobody to guide her. And she just kind of has a caretaker that at the end of the day, like, okay, I'm going to feed you, and, you know, I'll, you know, comb your hair and go to sleep. Like, but there's no real parenting.
No, there's.
And it's just, she's just a shitty mom. And, but at the end, you know, like you still feel bad for her, you know, because of what happens.
I think the reason, excuse me, I think the reason you still build that sympathy for her, because as much as there is a lot of parenting mistakes that she does, there are those moments that she has with her daughter that like she does her best to like show her like to how to have fun type, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So they do have those moments where like they do have fun together, but it's just kind of like, damn, like you got to work harder though, like to get out of these type of situations.
And it almost like makes you think like maybe she wasn't raised right.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know what to do, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, it could be like a generation thing, like where it's like, you know, I didn't have, like, my parents weren't great, and like I wasn't, you know, raised up to be like a model citizen, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
And now I have a kid and I'm in charge, and I'm still not even fully mature yet. So I gotta, you know, do all this shitty thing instead of getting a real job, trying to, like, you know, get their shit together. Like, you're just worried about making enough money that day, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, dude. And like, so yeah, there's that sympathy for her, because like I said, like she's not abusive in the way that she doesn't fucking. It's obvious she still cares for her,
Yeah.
and
Just a lot of bad decisions.
just bad decisions after another. But like I said, like it's done in such a realistic way because, like you said, like we both have seen those people, and like till this day, like there's still those people that just keep like making choices that like they're just not thinking about the
Yeah.
future of their kid and like
They're
their
not,
well-being.
they're not thinking long term.
Yeah, and I mean maybe like society is so like so fucked up that they can't get their shit together even if they wanted to. Like they wouldn't even know where to begin or
Yeah.
how to begin, or like no, there's nobody in there to guide them and help them out, because it never mentions like the dad or anything, huh?
Mm-mm.
Like so I mean the dad's clearly not in the picture. So yeah, it's super sad, dude. And then at the end, you finally get that point where she like they're trying to take her away, and she ends up running away, and she's like crying the whole time. And then you get that really like super low quality guerrilla style shot um of like maneuvering through Disneyland.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and my like it doesn't look like anything else in the movie. So like my interpretation of it, because the whole time they are like I said, they're in the shadow of Disneyland or Disney World. They're in Florida.
Yeah.
Jose would have corrected me.
Disney World.
A world, yeah. um, but yeah, they're in the shadow. So I think that was like in her head. That was like her safe space. Like all this bad shit is happening. My mom
I
is
see.
getting arrested. Like I'm getting taken away by a stranger. Like that was my interpretation of it. Like it's like, okay, I'm at Disneyland. I'm safe here. I'm having fun here. This is like what every kid's dream is. Because I mean, it's clear that they can't afford to go
Yeah.
there. I mean, and Disneyland, Disney World, all that shit. Like it's super shitty, dude. It's clearly they make it out, to where it's like they don't want low income people there.
Yeah.
It's super shitty, like and. So like these kids, like they're never gonna have a chance to go there, not by that type of parent, and like so like that just the way it was shot, because it is real footage of them like at Disney World, like kind of walking through everything. It's like kind of fast paced, but it's like it looks like it's shot like on a basic iPhone too, like super guerrilla style, and that's what I got out of it. In my head, I'm like, okay, this is like in her head.
She went to her happy place.
Yeah, that was her happy place. Like that was the one thing that like I said, like in the whole movie, you see that in the background. They're near, probably like a mile or two away from Disney World, and meanwhile they're like in this slummy part of Florida, in a motel where her mom's like selling herself to have enough for rent, and her only escape is like these other little kids that are there to play with her. And but like I said, dude, like it's the abuse that is shown is so realistic because it is like an emotional abuse. It's kind of there's no guidance. Even the way that she eats,
Yeah.
it's like all junk food.
Yep.
Ice cream, fucking chips, like just nothing but junk food. So I mean, there's that type of abuse, like. But like I said, it's stuff that nobody really talks about. It's problems that are in society that nobody addresses. Nobody, everyone talks about the physical stuff, the emotional stuff, but like those weird little like in between like gray area ones, like those are like the ones that like I think people can probably relate the most to,
Yeah.
and those are the ones that aren't being talked about or shown at least. Mostly because like I feel like it's hard to show that.
Yeah.
Like I feel like most directors wouldn't be able to show that kind of abuse and like not have it come off like maybe like not be boring, or
Yeah.
like, but I feel like
Not be boring or even not be preachy.
yeah, and the way he shot, like you said, there's no music, so it just like he just shows it to you like almost like documentary style, and he kind of just leaves it up to the audience to sit with it and let it stew in their head and be like, okay, like
It does feel like how does this make you feel?
yeah.
Yeah,
because there's nothing in it to lead you a certain way,
Yeah.
and nothing's like dramatic enough to be like, oh man, like like this little girl got beat up or something, like there's nothing like that in here, and like it's like I said, like stuff like that is really hard to pull off, and he does it in such a realistic way. It's almost kind of scary. Cause like I'm like, are these like, is this how she really is in real life, dude? Like I don't know.
So the actress that he got for that role, this was her first movie. I believe she was an IG model, and that's how he found her. But I thought she did amazing. She's believable.
Scary, dude. Yeah.
Like, damn, are you really a shitty mom in real life? Like,
Yeah. They recently, I don't know if you started seeing them. They had a reunion for like
yeah,
the
I
kids.
saw the picture of the kids. I was like, holy fuck, it's been that long.
Yeah. Dude, because when people say 2017, I think that's when it came out. Like it doesn't. It feels like 2-3 years ago.
And yeah, it's not.
It's yeah. It's crazy, dude.
Well, yeah, Tangerine came out in 2015,
Yeah.
10
dude,
years ago. So,
that's insane.
damn, I can't stop burping. I think I drink too much water. I need to sit up.
But dude, I love the Florida Project. I love the characters in it. I love that it touches on subjects and things that I care about, that that I've dealt with, growing up.
Yeah, definitely.
That I know people that dealt with that shit, and I feel like it does it in a non-Hollywood way, where like I said, it doesn't get preachy. It doesn't get it doesn't make it like you said, like almost like commercialized, like it just feels very raw and very real. And I applaud Sean Baker for that, because I feel like that shit is so hard to pull off.
Did he like win or get nominated for any awards for Tangerine or Florida Project?
If he did, I think it was just like a lot of indie ones. I know he won like a big one for Anora.
Dude, he won, I think, 4
For Anora?
For Anora,
Yeah, dude.
which I believe is like the first time for an indie filmmaker.
He gave an amazing speech. When he won one of the awards, I don't remember. I don't like watching like award ones. 'Cause I hate that. But he gave a really cool speech about like how he wouldn't be able to make these movies if he had a family. Because he's like I don't make a single dime out of this. Like he's like, if anything, I lose money making these movies. And he's saying that that's like a huge problem with like these indie filmmakers. Like, how many people don't get to tell a story, and and he was saying like, yeah, like if I had a daughter or a son or something, like I would not be up here right now, because I would have to get a real job. And he was saying like, and he mentions like, he's like, except if you're what's his name from Terrifier, the guy,
The actor or the
the director.
Damon Leone?
Yeah, he's like, if unless you're him and you somehow hit this miracle spot, like he's like, where like you just like you did something groundbreaking that's never been done. Which, like I said, Terrifier, it still blows my mind when I think about it, because he did pull off something that like has never ever been done before. Crazy. But he's talking about how like because that really, I don't even think that was 1 in a million. That's probably 1 in a billion shot.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
But yeah, he gave this awesome speech about that, and like how like, yeah, dude, like how it's hard to make movies like that, and he doesn't make money off of it. I don't think he cares to make money off of it, and I love that like he specifically mentions that, like he's like, I can't have a family if I'm gonna be making these movies, because there's just no way. But I think he's an amazing director. I think I can't wait to see what else he makes.
I think he is working on something right now. That's what I'm looking up. Because I feel like I read something that, yeah, he is. It's called, oh, he's only writing it. I don't think he's directing it. Left-Handed Girl. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious, dude. I do like that. He's like one of those directors too that like he takes his time with his movies. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't like have a new movie like every other year. So I'm always curious to see what he's gonna do, and I hope that Anora, like winning those awards, like it kind of shines light on his other projects. Like his older projects for people to check out. Because as popular as they are, I feel like they're only popular still with like people that like us, that,
Cinephiles?
yeah, that actually look for it, So hopefully, like a movie like that, like kind of being, having some light shined on it, like we'd be like, oh, get someone curious to check it out,
Yeah. What's your opinion on sex work?
I mean, to me, it's work, dude. Like, I don't think I can't imagine how scary it is to be a sex worker.
Dude, right?
There's just no protection for them legally. There's no protection for them, and I hate how society kind of. It's like this thing where it's just like almost dehumanizing, but it's obviously that it's in such high demand. But it's like one of those like underbelly things that nobody talks about, nobody wants to talk about, and like I don't know. To me, it's just like it's so scary, dude. And like I wish they would have some kind of like legal protection, like because, dude, whether it's like a stripper, like when it comes to like actual sex work, like I feel like fuck that, like that is terrifying, dude. Like just the how vulnerable you have to be with someone, and like I don't know, dude. Like I don't even know, like I wish society would shine light on it and kind of like be like, okay, like this is a real thing. It's happening everywhere. It's gonna happen no matter what.
Yeah.
And it's been around since fucking forever, So like why not have some type of like protection for them, like because you don't know how many people get killed, beat up, robbed. It's such a dangerous thing, and there's just no safety net for them,
Yeah.
And sometimes like that's because for one reason or another, like that's what they have to do, to get by, and whether it's to, provide for themselves or a family or whatever, I still think they should have some type of protection.
Yeah. I just think it's funny how like the majority of people that like condemn it and talk down on it are the ones that are usually seeking it out.
It's always like that, dude. It's
like-
always like that, dude.
It's like the guy that makes that's super homophobic secretly gay.
Yeah,
you know?
dude. The other day, dude, at work, I'm gonna use this example because it kind of like it bugged me so fucking much, dude.
Yeah.
One of the managers there, like she had her son, and I don't know, they were talking, but her husband came to pick him up and blah blah, and then she was like talking to one of the other girls, and she was like, yeah, I got my son some overalls, like, but my husband got mad and he said like, no, that's for gay people.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and then like her husband was there. He's like, oh yeah, like he looked like a faggot wearing those. Like he's like, nah, my son's not gonna wear that shit. And like, dude, like I had to like not say anything, but I'm like, dude, like, are you secret? Like, do you like dick or something? Like, why? Like,
How?
fucking overalls, dude. Like you're so insecure, dude, and you're gonna fucking bleed that shit onto your kid,
That's usually where it stems from. It's the insecurity.
Dude.
The insecurity, the not having that that confidence in your own sexuality,
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
I wanted to call him a gaylord, but
That's what's up.
yeah, but it just like pissed me off. Like this poor kid, man. Like he's gonna have a shitty dad like that. But
Yeah, that sucks.
But yeah, it's like it's always those type of people, dude. It's always those type of people, and it's like you don't have to support it directly, like, but it's like it's not hurting you.
Yeah.
So like, why wouldn't you like want protect for another human being?
Yeah.
It's I never understood it, but like you said, dude, it's always those type of people, dude, and it sucks. And they're fucking everywhere, dude. Yeah.
Why do you hate it, Eddie? Yeah, and these movies, because I mean, the Florida Project, she does sex work in it as well, so it seems to be like a common thread throughout his films.
Yeah, because even the Florida Project kind of touches on that a little bit.
But yeah, like I feel like in film, like these three are specifically Anora, Florida Project and Tangerine are pretty good depiction of like the different like type of sex workers, you know? Because
That's right.
even
yeah.
though they all deal with like a certain type of sex worker, they're all completely different.
Yeah. You have like the high end one, you
Yeah.
have the black trans one, and then you have one that's just kind of like a regular mom,
Yeah.
you know, in a rundown motel. It's
Isn't Red Rocket about that too?
the only thing I know about Red Rocket, it's about like an ex porn star that goes back home, and he meets like a 16-year-old, I think, and they
Oh,
start like
shit.
hooking up or something like that. And I don't think the movie's like directly like revolves around that exactly, but I know like that's kind of the gist of it. but
Yeah.
it's been on my watch list forever, but I think just because of the subject matter, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what's that movie that?
Licorice Pizza.
Yeah, like it's so weird. Like nobody
It's weird.
talks about it, dude. Nobody has mentioned it. Like, but I don't know. Well, I guess if I don't know, dude. I don't know what to say. It's weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, that could be like another thing that no one is shedding light on, you know? Like, yeah, but yeah, dude. Like I'm glad that there's someone out there giving them a voice,
Yeah.
because I feel like there's not much movies that revolve around kind of like sex work and things like that don't like I said, that don't make it look like either like they aren't real people or just over the top super dramatic and like not realistic at all, you know?
Because they also don't like, he doesn't like glamorize it either.
No.
Like he doesn't make it like an enticing lifestyle, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like he doesn't make it seem like, oh, like because they're sex workers, like I'm gonna put them like high on a pedestal. Like no, they're just everyday real people.
Yeah.
You know, like they're just real people doing real things, and that's what I love about it. Like he doesn't have a left or a right
Yeah.
way of showing it. You know, it just shows you what it is and kind of leaves it up to you to decide like how you feel about that, and kind of like questioning your morality and like kind of like would I support that? How do I feel about this?
Yeah. But yeah, so Tangerine, you can watch it on Max or buy it. I would say definitely worth owning.
Yeah.
Florida Project is also streaming on Max. Another one I would not mind owning.
Yeah. I feel like I think I like Florida Project just a little bit more,
Yeah.
but it's also a little bit harder for me to watch than the other films. Just 'cause, like I said, like I know those people. I've met those kids, and growing up, I knew friends that had families like that. Like just I'm like, dude, it's like 9 o'clock. Like, I don't care. Like, like my dad's probably drunk. Like, but yeah, I would recommend all of them.
Anora's on Hulu.
Ours on Hulu. So is
Anora's on Hulu, Florida Project, and Tangerine are on Max. And Red Rocket is only for rent.
only for rent.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'm curious to see what else is out there. But any other films you want to touch on? Anything you watch?
Before that, people should follow me on Letterboxd. I'm gonna plug my Letterboxd. I don't
Dang.
give a fuck. Yeah, just I watched like a bunch of movies. The last movie we talked about on the pod, I believe, was Venom, right? That I watched, Venom: The Last Dance.
I think so.
Yeah. So since then, I've watched a few, but there is two of them that I want to save for when Jose's back.
Okay.
But the one I do want to bring up is Rules of Attraction. I
Rules of
rewatched that.
Attraction. I don't think I've ever seen it.
You never seen it?
No.
Came out 2002, starring James Vanderbeek, Jessica Biel, Shannon Sossaman, Kit Pardue, Colin Clifton Jr. I think is his name. But it's a movie that was adapted from a Bret Easton Ellis novel. And I remember watching this movie like when it came out when I was in high school, and I thought it was tight. Very Tarantino-esque because the story isn't really linear. There's a lot of like going back and forth because it shows like multiple events that happen or multiple perspectives at the same event for different people. And I wanted to rewatch it because my homies or my friend Chris, his podcast 90 Minutes on Film, they recently did an episode on American Psycho. And they reminded me that American Psycho and Rules of Attraction are basically the same universe.
Oh, really?
Because American Psycho, main character is Patrick Bateman. Rules of Attraction, the main character is his little brother, Sean Bateman. And Patrick Bateman is referenced in Rules of Attraction. So in the book, because I read the book, excuse me, in the book, Sean, he like owes money to a drug dealer, and the drug dealer is like pressing him for it, and he finally calls. He's like, "I'll just call my brother. I'll call my brother," and he calls him, and it's Patrick Bateman. Calls him to get money off him, and they filmed the scene in Rules of Attraction for it. They ended up cutting it because they couldn't get Christian Bale, so they got what's his name, Casper Van Dien, the main actor from Starship Troopers, the guy with the fucking jaw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they got him to play Patrick Bateman, and you can watch it on YouTube, like the deleted scene.
But they ended up cutting it.
They ended up cutting it, but so I was like, I haven't seen Rules of Attraction in a while, and I had ended up buying a media book off of, was it Orbit? I believe it was OrbitDVD.com, and I watched it, and dude, the movie is still like, it's kind of shocking.
Yeah,
because it's like these college kids, and it's the perspective of 3 different college kids, and there's a lot of like drinking, a lot of drugs, a lot of sex, some sexual assault, and it's just the shit that goes on in this movie. It feels like a Tarantino type movie just because it's a lot of chaos, a lot of dialogue. But I still loved it. I was like, oh man, I'm so glad I bought this.
Yeah. Do you know if it's streaming on anything?
I don't think it is.
No. I've heard people talk about this movie a lot.
Yeah.
That name always stands out to me, but
Tubi.
I've never Tubi.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
No? Mm-mm. I'll let you borrow it and just watch it whenever you can. But I love this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said 2002?
2002. But yeah, it's supposed to be like...
So it's like a drama, kind of?
It's a drama. Okay. But there has funny moments.
Kind of like American Psycho.
Yeah, exactly. But it's funny because American Psycho takes place in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
So this one, I don't think it takes place in the 80s, but as I was watching it, I was like, I don't really see anybody with a cell phone. Mm-hmm. Everybody's like using like either a payphone or a landline. And the outfits are very like 90s, early 2000s. So I don't know.
So it doesn't really tell you exactly?
Not really. Not really.
So you're just basing off of the way it looks.
Yeah. But I loved it. I still loved it, yeah.
I'll check it out.
You gotta watch it.
I do like American Psycho a lot. To me, that's like Christian Bale, dude. Like, he's insane. Did
you watch anything, or do you want to touch on Squid Games?
All right, yeah. I haven't watched much. Like I'm so surprised I watched Anora, but all right. So I watched Winnie the Pooh and the Heffalump.
Yeah.
Dude, that shit made me cry.
Yeah?
Dude, finally.
Fuck yeah.
So it was one of those movies that I like. Emily likes watching Winnie the Pooh, so they had this one of the movies. It was just randomly playing. It was that one.
Yeah.
And I missed like maybe like the first 20 minutes of it, and because I was just kind of playing with her, and then she fell asleep, and I didn't have my cell phone. And I was like, I don't want to get up from this couch because I'm gonna wake her up. So I was kind of sleepy too. So I was like, whatever. I just started like watching it, and dude, I got so into it. It's fucking, dude, that shit made me bawl. I'm like, why the fuck is a Winnie the Pooh movie making me cry, dude? It's fucking, dude. It's a good fucking movie, dude.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. I feel like, I mean, I wasn't one of those kids that watched Winnie the Pooh growing up. So, I mean, I know obviously who he is, and like, I've seen the cartoon. But to me, like, growing up, I guess I wasn't engaged enough for me. Like I thought it was like slow and boring, and like it just wasn't my thing. So this is like my first experience like watching a Winnie the Pooh movie, and dude, it's called Winnie the Pooh and the Heffalump or something like that. And the Heffalump is a creature that, you know, all the main characters, they think it's like this scary creature that has like horns and all that, which it's just an elephant, but they're hyping it up to be like this big scary thing, and they go on a hunt for it. And then Rue, he's kind of the main character in this one, which is I thought was cool because it's like he's one of the more like background characters in like all the other films. And you know who Rue is, right? The little
Yeah.
kangaroo. So he's the one that ends up finding the Heffalump. It's like a little baby elephant, and they end up becoming like really good friends. And the whole time, like in the background, you hear the mom elephant like, you know, using her trunk to call out for the baby. And the baby elephant, he ends up telling Rue like, oh, you know, I gotta get back to my mom, blah blah blah. Like she's worried about me. It's getting late, but they end up like kind of like getting lost. He can't find her, and the baby elephant can't call out because he hasn't developed his like sound yet, you know. But long story short, dude, Rue gets into some shit, and he ends up like when he finally does get his call, dude. I was fucking bawling, dude.
Yeah.
Like he ends up calling his mom to save Rue, and I was like, oh my god, dude! Out of all fucking movies, dude. Out of all movies, dude. Yeah, dude. I was like, damn, this is fucking depressing. Like, I don't even want her to watch it, dude. I'm like, this is fucking too sad, dude.
Just show her Watership Down.
Fuck no, dude. That's another, dude. It's like, you still haven't seen Grave of the Fireflies, huh?
Mm-mm.
That's a movie I don't ever want to watch it, dude. But I love it. But it's such a sad movie, dude. But I watched that one, and then I think that might be everything. Let me think. Yeah, I think that's the only thing I've watched. But yeah, if you have a kid, watch that movie. Winnie the Pooh's tight, dude.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, they have like a new version of Winnie the Pooh. Like, it's like, I guess, from modern.
Yeah.
And it's not like animated the same way. This is like computer generated. So and it's really like dumbed down. Like there's like, I don't know. It's so dumb, dude. Even his voice isn't with like the typical Winnie the Pooh voice. Did you ever watch the live action one with Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Ewan McGregor, you mean?
Yeah, Obi.
No, I never saw that one.
I haven't seen it either, but I've seen like clips and it looks kind of funny. But I heard they're good though.
Yeah.
But no, I think
That's it?
That's it.
All right. I'm going to take a piss break.
Do it.
All right. I'm back.
There's nothing good on theaters right now, huh? I was just
No, I mean, I canceled my Regal Unlimited, so.
Yeah, I feel like nothing has like caught my eye.
Mm-mm.
I was interested about the Wolfman, but
Yeah, I've kind of been hearing a lot of mixed things about it.
yeah, I've heard like good things, and then I've heard some like not so good things.
Yeah, but I think we'll save the Squid Games talk for the next episode.
Yeah.
Or not. Yeah, it would be the next episode. Yeah, it would be the next one after this. But last thing I want to say is there's a piece of music that was announced today that I am extremely excited for. Cannot wait to own on vinyl.
Ooh.
Dr. Pepper is releasing an album.
The fucking drink?
Yep.
What do you mean?
Exactly that. Posted 8 hours ago. We're taking pop music to a whole new level. Headphones. Sounds of Succulence. Vinyl dropping April 23rd.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, and there's like a little snippet of the music on TikTok. Here.
What the fuck, dude? Damn, dude. You know what, dude? I don't support soda, But I fuck with Dr. Pepper, dude.
Dr. Pepper is the best soda in the world.
You know, if I was to drink a soda, it would be a Dr. Pepper.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
So I gotta be there for them, dude. I'll support that decision of the vinyl, dude.
Oh, best believe I'm buying that shit, homie. Best believe I'm buying that shit. So yeah, shout out Dr. Pepper, sponsor Betamax, and we'll see everybody next time.